Guys, what's up? Welcome back. My name's Tiffany. If you're new here, I am currently a nursing student. I am over halfway through my first semester. It's going by super fast. Can't believe it. And I'm honestly enjoying nursing school so far. I'm doing actually very well in all of my classes. So yeah, I just wanted to get on here and just share some tips with you guys because when I first started nursing school, like the first 3 or 4 weeks were like crazy overwhelming for me. There was like so much reading. I didn't know like how to prioritize my time, what to do. Like it was just really stressful. I've, never had so much reading that I've actually had to do in the past. You have the textbook to reference, but then you just go off the lecture slides, whereas like in nursing school, you do actually have to read, at least for my classes, because my professors tend to pull material like directly from the textbook, especially from my fundamentals class. So the way that I study for that class took me a little bit of time to get my method down, but I finally have it down, so I'm going to share it with you guys. So pretty much we get assigned a chapter or 2 or 3 every week to read, and then we go over in lecture, and then we get tested on it after a few weeks. So what I've been doing is I actually ordered my book. I'll show you guys. We have like an online program that has my book online. Like they had an option to where I could buy the whole like loose leaf textbook for 50 bucks. And this thing is like 2,000 pages. This is for my fundamentals class. It's literally like this big. But the thing I love about like the hole punch book is, so what I do is like for every exam. So if you guys have watched my like how I set up my binder video, hold on. Oh my gosh, my knees. So if you guys have watched like my binder video, this is what my binder looks like, and I chose to put like all of my classes in one binder. And this is like all the things that I'm currently studying, and then once I'm like done, or once I've been tested on the material, like it comes out of this notebook. And then like starting for the second exam, when I got this textbook in the mail, I just went through and picked out, the 8 or 10 chapters that were going to be on that next exam, and I literally just went through and pulled them out and put them into my binder, and then just tabbed the side saying like week 4, 5, 6, and those were the readings that I knew I had to do for the week. So what I've been doing is I read the entire chapter, and then I highlight things that I feel like are important or that I need to memorize or that I might be tested on. Just something that like really sticks out to me, I go and I highlight it. So like I said, I do go through and I read the whole chapter, and I'll just give you an example. Like I've highlighted here and like here. So then I normally like read it and then like take, a day or two, and then I come back to it, and then I go to take notes on what I've read. But instead of rereading the whole textbook or the whole chapter, I just read the highlighted parts and take notes based off of that. So, if I've taken a couple days and something that I highlighted, I'm like, oh yeah, that makes sense. It like sticks in my brain. I probably don't need to write it down on my study guide. But if it's something that I feel like I need to memorize, or it's really important, or that I don't necessarily understand fully, then I will put it into my study guide. And so I don't know what it is, but it saved me so much time instead of just going through and reading and taking notes like right away as I'm reading. That's just like, it was not working for me. So this has been the best way. And also like my specific textbook that I have for fundamentals has a lot of charts like this in it. And so sometimes I don't even like take notes on the charts. I'll literally just like stick this page into my study guide, so I don't have to like rewrite a ton. So that's helped a lot. And then I try to do that before my lecture. That way when I go to lecture, I can just like add anything in that the professor mentions that might not be in the book, or if she like explains it in a better way, then I would, write it down, obviously. But sometimes I don't get it done before lecture, which is on Thursday nights. So obviously like my lecture-based classes are online right now, so I can go back and watch them anytime, which is really convenient. So I try to, like that next day or next couple days, I try to go back, watch the lecture, compare it to the notes. They're always very similar because my professor, she pretty much goes along with the textbook, so that's why I like to read and take notes the way I do. And then another thing that I did was I like to like just write things down because I feel like it sticks in my head more. So I have a whiteboard that's about like this size, and so what I did is I went through my study guide and I wrote like the major topic at the top of the whiteboard, and then like all the information that I needed to know for that topic right below it. And then after I did that, I took a picture of like every single topic, so I had it on my phone so I could just kind of like pull it out and study whenever I want. So I'm going to show you guys really quick. Like for example, we were talking about like different stages of sleep, and so at the top here, like it says like, sorry, you can see my ring light. Just got this thing, I love it. But anyways, so you can see, there we go. Like at the top it says like non-REM sleep, and then I have like everything below it that I needed to know. So if I was ever, like if I was like out in public and I wanted to just study really quick, like I could just pull out my phone and scroll through like the different topics. If you can see that. And so that really helped me to study. And then after I like kind of learned everything and retained the information, I started to just do a ton of practice problems and read the rationales. Honestly, rationales just help out a lot because it typically talks about the parts of the question that are wrong and why they're wrong. And a lot of the times, like, a question is wrong because of like one little thing. Like it could be, like for instance, in my ATI book, I did like a practice problem and it talked about, you know, turning patients for like preventing pressure ulcers. And, you know, the answer choice was turn the patient every 3 hours. Well, it's supposed to be every 1 to 2 hours. So it's like, it's close, but it's not there. So that's why I like the rationales, because it doesn't just pinpoint the right answers. It goes through why the wrong answers are wrong. So I don't know, rationales just really helped me to study. Like I said, I tried to like learn all the material that I could first, retain all that, then go through and do practice problems. So that's how I've been studying for that class, and I've done really well, like I said, on both exams. My health assessment class, I kind of do the same thing, but I don't really, like I just go through that class and like read and highlight and then maybe take a few notes. Like there's a lot to memorize, but it's more of like knowing your assessments. At least that's what my professor wants us to know, is the assessments. Like I have a very big like head to toe assessment assignment in like 2 weeks, so I've got to start prepping for that. But that class, yeah, for the quizzes and stuff, I've just been doing the same thing, reading, highlighting, and taking small notes, but not as much as I was doing in fundamentals. And then my lab class, we use ATI, which I really enjoy ATI, to be honest. So this is like the lab component with my fundamentals class, and we just had a midterm. Sorry, this is the ATI book that we use for the class, but we just had a midterm and I actually did really well on it. I think I got like a 94%, and we did have to have a 75% on the midterm to pass the class. That's honestly why I like kind of like went crazy on the studying, because I was like, I don't even want to risk the chance of like not getting a 75%, because it wasn't that many questions. So it's like you really can't miss a ton of questions or you fail the whole class. So I made sure to really, really study for that class. And what I did was just, this is why I love ATI. The books are just kind of like all bullet points. So it just gives you like a ton of information, but very like summarized. And this is kind of how I make my notes with my study guides. Like I like to just kind of like condense everything. And I can show you an example of that. So like this is what my study guides look like. I typically like to write on white paper, but if my hand gets too tired or like I start to get blisters on my fingers, because that happens often, then I will like switch to typing if I have to. But yeah, this is what my study guides look like. So I pretty much condense like, you know, 40, 50 to 100 pages to anywhere from like a 10 to 15 page study guide. So that is the major thing for me, is just condense all the information down, memorize it all, and then you're going to do well on your exams. You're just going to do well. But anyways, back to the ATI. I also like went through and flagged the chapters that were going to be on my exam, so I knew like what to go through. For this one, I did do the same thing where I went and highlighted and also wrote out some things that I needed to memorize. And like I said, that helped. So the last thing I guess that I have to study for is my skill checkoffs in lab. So for us, if you fail your first checkoff, you lose a whole percentage off your grade, your final grade. If you fail 2 checkoffs, it's 3%. If you fail 3 checkoffs, it's 5%. And you can't fail more than 3 or you fail the class. So I have passed all of mine so far. And what I've done for those is I only start to like practice them like a day or two in advance, because I find that if I practice it like right after lab, by the time I go to like have the checkoff, I don't even remember it anyways. So it's just been like best for me to just do it like the day before, a couple days before. And then my lab is not until 1 o'clock on Mondays, so I can get up early too and always like go over the skill again if I need. and that's just been working well for me. So I think that is it studying wise. That's all the tips that I have for you guys. But in general, like my number one, I guess, thing that I would want to tell you guys about nursing school is just learning to manage your time and knowing what to prioritize. So like if you have an exam that's worth 25% of your grade and you have an assignment that's maybe worth a couple percent of your grade, you know, and you don't have a ton of time, or like you just feel overwhelmed, like you should kind of know, okay, I need to put more of my time into this exam, even though this assignment is it's still important. It's just not as much of a priority as that exam is going to be, because that obviously is like worth so much of your grade. So that's really helped me with managing my time and prioritizing, is to just know like what, you know, what percentage things are worth, because that really is going to determine like how much effort you should put into it. I've said this in previous videos, you know, like your mental health is so important. So being able to like take a step back from school and have a life outside of school, hang out with your friends, call your family, don't isolate yourself, like get out. Like you've got to get your mind off school. You can't constantly be surrounded by school because you'll just burn out really quick. I started to kind of feel myself burn out like after a month or so. So I started to kind of like tone it down and have a life, and I've been doing a lot better. And like I said, I've been really enjoying school and I've been doing well, but I've also been having a little bit of a social life too. So it's been nice. It might help too that I do have online classes. It's less commuting to school. It's just convenient. You can just pop open your laptop, you know, 2 minutes before lecture and hop on. So I definitely think, you know, with being online, I have a little more time than I would have had if I was in person, but I'm just trying to take advantage of it all. So yeah, I think that is actually all that I have to share with you guys. I definitely want to continue doing this, and thank you guys for staying around if you have stayed around, and I hope to see you soon. Bye.